Hey, it's Stone Potwasher, and I'm here today with not just one, but two card reviews from the new Shadowverse expansion, Rebirth of Glory. First card is a 1 point silver portal craft spell called Metadivision. Puts a radiant artifact into your deck, and at the end of your turn draws a card. Metadivision is a card with very similar card decks to Meta Production. Since Metadivision is only one word different from Meta Production, you may expect the cards to be similar, but they're actually very different, especially taking into consideration the context in which Meta Production was popular. Meta Production was a key card in Artifact Portal Craft in the past due to its flexibility. It could add an analyzing artifact into the deck in the early game to draw with Miriam and Fervent Machine Soldier, after which analyzing artifacts could be duplicated with Tamerlane and or given Rush using Acceleradium. It could also adjust for resonance for cards such as Deus Ex Machina, Miriam, and Alter Plane Onslaught. Most of these cards that synergize with Meta Production besides Alter Plane Onslaught have been or will be rotated out by the next expansion. And even without these specific synergies, the Analyzing Artifact was way more powerful than Radiant Artifact in that it was a 1 playpoint card that's easy to fit into any turn and can draw a card. In comparison, the Radiant Artifacts are unique in that they're the only artifacts that can damage the enemy leader directly with Storm. Before the release of Meisha Hero Purgation, it was common for Artifact Portalcraft to add many Radiant Artifacts into the deck in the late game using Mechanization and Biofabrication. Even then, Radiant Artifacts weren't added to the deck as early as turn 1, since you don't want to draw it early. It's definitely an awkward part of the card that you may not want to play at turn 1 or keep it in the mulligan. Nowadays, a lot of other things aren't looking great for Radiant Artifacts either. It's very difficult to store multiple Radiant Artifacts to directly attack the enemy leader. First of all, it's difficult to add multiple Radiant Artifacts into the deck, since Metadivision only adds one at a time. It's also more difficult to draw multiple Radiant Artifacts from the deck, since Deus Ex Machina and Miriam have been rotated. Artifact Portalcraft is also much less reliant on Radiant Artifact as a finisher due to Meisha Hero Purgation. Radiant Artifacts are not good as Meisha setup cards. Radiant Artifacts are also not good with the current Artifact game plan, which is to hold artifacts in hand, play the Displacer bot, and then play all your artifact cards along with Augmentation Bestowal in one turn to draw cards while creating the board. Another point against Metadivision is that in the next expansion, toggling resonance by playing Metadivision is not very useful, as Deus Ex Machina and Miriam Synthetic Being both won't be playable cards in rotation. You could still use Metadivision in order to adjust resonance for windup, but since Radiant Artifacts aren't great cards to trade with, I doubt it would be very good to incorporate Metadivision into a puppet game plan with Lashena Omen of Destruction. We may possibly see the rebirth of Artifact Portal with the Rebirth of Glory expansion, and Metadivision may be played in that deck, but at the very least, that revival is not going to be spurred by Metadivision alone. The next card is another reimagining of an old card. Pinion Lake is the 2 playpoint Bronze Havencraft Amulet. It's Countdown 3 with Fanfare. If you have more cards in hand than your opponent, subtract 1 from the countdown of this amulet, and last words, summon an Adamantium Bird, a 3/5 follower with Rush. The text, if you have more cards in hand than your opponent, is new, and I'm gonna assume that this means if you have one more card in hand than your opponent before you play the Pinion Lake, the effect will activate. Godsteel Wings from the Rise of Bahamut expansion started with Countdown 4, and its countdown went down by 1 for each evolution used while the amulet was in play. In comparison, Pinion Lake starts out with Countdown 3. This means that even without the fanfare effect, the Adamantium Bird is automatically going to pop at a decent timing. Typically, when played on turn 2 going first, the countdown will run out on turn 5, coinciding with the first evolution point. When going second, the Adamantium Bird will likewise come out on the first evolution turn, this time turn 4. Another important timing for 2 playpoint cards is turn 3 or 4 going first. If one of the cards played before Pinion Lake doesn't reduce hand size, such as Unicorn Knight, it'll often be possible to activate the fanfare effect of reducing the countdown by 1, even going first. The Pinion Lake countdown will run out on the same turn as if the card was placed 1 turn earlier, so this will be the most efficient use of this card going first. There are 2 really cool amulet-related Havencraft cards that I've been keeping an eye on. City of Gold, and Featherfolk Gardener. City of Gold requires a pass turn 2, which allows you to maintain your hand size and immediately reduce the countdown of Pinion Lake by 2. Generally, passing turn 2 and turn 3 is not a great idea, but this game plan allows you to rush out the Adamantium Bird after only one turn, effectively allowing you to play out a 3-5 follower on turn 3. And without City of Gold, if you're able to play out the Pinion Lake with the countdown reduction effect on turn 4, it's also a great setup for Featherfolk Gardener. Depending on what other Amulet and Amulet Synergy cards are added in Rebirth of Glory, Pinion Lake definitely looks like a fun card to try out. Thanks very much to Cygames and Tempostorm for letting me reveal these cards. And check out my stream at twitch.tv/Potwasher, my Twitter at @Potwasher. Thanks for watching,